Hello, in this video we're going to discuss Satan's plans on humankind. So, underground, as I mentioned, in the stations that witches and Wiccans run, there are communities of people who are literally slaves that are brought up and bred to speak with certain accents and languages. So they look like and sound like people from certain areas of the planet. And the reason why they're doing this is that their plans are to displace and remove people of all other religions and cultures that are not Wiccan, and they would replace an entire town of all people who are not Wiccans, forcing them out of their homes and taking them underground, and putting and replacing them with their own kind. So these people underground are brought up as Wiccans. In order for them to achieve, to be allowed to be on the surface of Earth, they go through a hideous process, and they have to look good in order to be selected to go to the surface. In order for that to happen, they wind up having to torture their own families and kill them in order to earn themselves a path outside. For law enforcement agencies, how you can detect these people is they'll show up in other countries, and for example, they might say they're from the United States. They'll be talking with an American accent. So then with people like that, if they're not on your list of people on your census, that is a person from underground. Right? And so that is one person. That is confirmation that you've got one in your presence. These people do go into places where the census records are kept. As I mentioned before, they control spy agencies, except for Israel and the United States. So they alter records. In the case of children taken away for sacrifices, they delete their records completely. In the movies, people talk of being off the grid and living off the grid. It is a very, very bad idea to live off the grid, because you lose the support of your nation. All right, and so these people are technically off the grid. They're not part of the nation, but they're placed within it to infiltrate it and take it over. What happens when they have a whole community that follows Satan is you wind up with the same sort of nonsense that goes on underground happening on the surface. So you wind up with human sacrifices, and everyone's getting drowned and drown raped every day. The entire population, except for the controller who's running the show. So we don't want that sort of nonsense on Earth. With regard to these people underground, there are very big populations at the stations. And the stations exist in all cities across the planet. So you will come across them, and when they're liberated, you will find that you would have a large population of people that you would have to provide aid for. Their food source underground is horrible. It involves some human matter. They also consume worms and other creatures. So they are forced into cannibalism. One of the types of food that they consume is a type of black pudding. Another one is a type of black liquid. You would see people with black stained teeth, and in their mouths they've been consuming this type of material. It does have human remains in it. That's what witches and Wiccans consume. The privileged few get whatever they want, those ones who are controllers. So Satan's intent is to bring this sort of nonsense and take over the planet. I'm the Archangel Daniel, and I'm from heaven.